In the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Dr. Robert Glover diagnoses some of his friends with the nice guy syndrome. Now, a person with the nice guy syndrome is known to give. They like to give things. They like to fix things. They also like to caretake. And there's a difference between caretaking and caring. He says they like to avoid conflict and repress their feelings. They don't like to talk about their emotions. He said sometimes they're dishonest and quite secretive. So let's talk about little kids for a little bit. A little kid is egocentric, which means that he thinks the world revolves around him. Humans from a young age are very egocentric. Anyone under the age of 6 will think the world revolves around them. They will also have a large fear of abandonment. They'll have a fear of helplessness because children can't do a lot of things on their own. So if something happens, like they are hungry and their mom usually feeds them but their mom doesn't feed them, they'll think, hey, I'm hungry and my mom's not feeding me, it must be my fault, because they're egocentric. If they cry and no one holds them, they'll think it's their fault. If someone gets angry at them or a parent leaves, they'll think it's their fault. And this accumulated over time creates a toxic shame. They think that everything they do is their fault, and someone with the nice guy syndrome believes they are unlovable. They must do things to be lovable. He also goes into explaining that there's a difference between caretaking and caring. Caretaking, you give to others what the giver needs to give. You give because you like giving. Caring is giving to others because they need it. They need something, so you give it to them. That's caring. Caretaking comes from a place of emptiness in the giver. The giver's like, hey, in order for me to be happy, I need to give something. Caring, on the other hand, comes from a place of abundance. He says, hey, I have a bunch of this, and I don't need all of it. Here's some for you. Caretaking also has unconscious strings attached, which means deep in the subconscious level, the caretaker is saying, hey, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Caring, however, is unconditional and has no strings attached. Now, during World War II, a lot of fathers left the home, and this is quite interesting because we start seeing this throughout history, that fathers are not there as often as they should be for their children, especially their sons. The education system is also dominated by women, which they also don't have a role model at school. And sometime after World War II, feminism and the sexual revolution became a big thing. Young boys used to learn how to be a man from their dad and grandpa, from working on the farm and in close environments. He says this is what creates the nice guy syndrome. To solve this problem, you have to learn to please yourself first. You need to spend time and money developing yourself. He says it's okay to be a little selfish, and I like to refer to the airplane attendant mask. When you get on an airplane, what the attendant says is, in the case of an accident, put your mask on first. That way, you will be better supplied to help those around you. If you don't take care of yourself first, you're not going to be able to help those around you. He says that you should make your needs a priority, as opposed to trying to please others and make their needs a priority. In this book, he talks a lot about how to learn and set boundaries, and how to express your feelings and resolve conflict safely. Because if you remember back before, I said that the nice guy syndrome, a lot of people avoid conflict. This is a big problem because if they're avoiding the conflict, they're also avoiding the resolution. The basis of this book is to learn how to be selfish without being rude about it. He says one way you can help reclaim your masculinity is to spend more time with guys. Spend more time with masculine men. One last little trick I'm going to give out of this book is that in order to get better sex, you should aim to only have great sex. Let's use the perfect watermelon analogy I came up with. In your life, you may have eaten 3 watermelons, 10 watermelons, or 300 watermelons. Now, what if you say that all of those watermelons that you ate were the best watermelons in the world? You're gonna be like, watermelons are pretty good. But what if you have some great watermelons and you also have some terrible, rotten watermelons? When you look at watermelons as a whole, you're gonna be like, it's okay, it's good every now and then. You should do the same with your sex life. If you settle for bad sex, it's not going to become as enjoyable, and it's actually going to bring down the great sex. Anyways, there are a lot more little tips and tricks in this book that he mentions that I really like, and I might mention them later in a future video, but for now, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment below of the next animated book review that you would like me to review, and in the next 48 hours, if I pick your comment, I will ship the book to your house for free, and I'll also make an animated book review of that book. Don't forget to like this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.